participants. Hola, we're in Vegas. When was the last time you were in Vegas? Last week, right? So this is only my second time to Vegas in my life. Actually, my earlier life, I was 14 when I came with my two best friends and my dad. And all we did was shop and play in the arcades. The other time I was here was literally a month ago for one of my dear friends' bachelorette. So I'm excited to be in this crazy, awesome city. Are you guys excited? All right, let's get started. I'm going to give you a little bit of an intro. My name is Shaherose. I'm the CEO of Women 2.0. And I'd love to get started with the slides. Awesome. Okay. So, why are we here today? We're really here to explore the next 7 years. Because in the last 7 years, some of the most interesting stuff happened. Literally only 7 years. There were things that we used to call social interaction, where we actually would talk to people face to face. In the last 7 years, something called social networking came about and totally changed the face of how we interact with people. When you look closely at social networking and you look deeply at what's behind that thing called Facebook, you look behind at the users and you realize that 62% of the daily active users on Facebook are female. 62% of active messages, updates, comments are made by females. 71% of the daily active users are females. 53% of Facebook users are female, but the person who created Facebook looks like this. If you look beyond Facebook and all these other social networks, women dominate everywhere on social networks. Beyond Facebook, on every social network, women are dominating. That's obvious, we know that. The other obvious thing we've noticed is the change that's happened to the media and advertising industry. Back in the day, we would open a magazine, take a look at an ad, and maybe be inspired to buy the product. Well, that's completely been shifted by social media marketing, right? This is very obvious stuff now. This only happened in the last 7 years. If you look closely at social media marketing, particularly online, we have 91% of women said that advertisers don't understand them still. Yet on Twitter, which is a real big source for social media advertising and marketing, women dominate. Yet the person who created Twitter looks like this. What else has been changed in the last 7 years? Our devices. I mean, that was probably more than 20 years ago the phone looked like that. But we have these really cool things called smartphones, right? When you look deeply at that, women are also dominating usage on smartphones. We send more text messages, we use more talk time, we are smartphone addicts, this is obvious. But the reality is, even beyond the usage, we actually control a lot of the spending. So 91% of consumer electronic purchases are influenced by women. 61% of household influences, again, across the household for electronic purchases is influenced by women. And women buy 7.4 more electronic devices than men. Pretty cool, huh? Yet, our wonderful friends who created both Android and iPhone look a little something like this. All right, that's fine, no problem, move on. So we're driving. We're in the car industry. We've got cars, it's amazing, good stuff. Been totally been disrupted in the last 7 years by hybrid cars, electric cars, soon to be other types of cars. Look behind the usage of cars. 62% of new car purchases are influenced by women, and 80% of the purchasing decision is made by women. Crazy. So then we have $5 trillion worth of purchasing power is, again, also influenced by many of you in this room. In general, we feel so frustrated that 74% of us feel that we're not being understood by automotive makers. Yet the people who are disrupting this industry, I love these guys a lot. I love their cars, look like this. Pretty cool, right? Anyway, so then there was a time when I used to play Sega. Who played Sega? Right? Sonic the Hedgehog? Loved him. So we know this has completely been disrupted, this gaming industry, by social gaming. And many of you probably know that behind social gaming, the #1 players of social games are? Take a guess. Yes, women. So when we look behind Zynga, is one of the main players. We see the founder looks like this. All right. So we're shopping, right? We used to shop in malls. Now we shop online. If you look online, 85% of spending decisions are made by women online. We influence $5 trillion of buying. 22% of us shop online once a day. 92% pass on information about buying something through the internet. These wonderful, wonderful sites that we use. I'm not going to bore you with the stats. Let's look at the photos. It's awesome. Tony, we love you. So I don't know about you, but that's kind of getting boring, right? You get the point, right, if you speak Spanish? So the reality is this is happening, right? But here's the truth. We do build better businesses. Women, when we're on a founding team of a tech company, these are specific stats to a tech company, we basically get to a point where we have 53% higher return on equity, 42% higher return on sales, and 66% higher return on invested capital just by putting a woman on the founding team. I'm not talking about women businesses. I'm talking about just adding diversity. When there's a woman on the founding team, these companies are also 1/3 more capital efficient, meaning they're using less capital than they need to. They also file more innovative patents. Pretty cool. And they're also more likely to survive, whatever that means, according to some survey that was made. But it's just be honest. The obvious fact here is that with women on a founding team, we have stronger, more efficient, and more innovative companies. Do you agree? Right? But wait, there's more. What's even more obvious is that the reality is technology actually leverages the natural strengths that women have in the room. So let me quickly run through that. Social media marketing, it's all about building communities. We're all naturally good at that, right? I mean, I don't have to explain that point. We're good at that. Empathizing with the biggest market, we just talked about that, so we can actually be better at designing products because we understand the largest market. To be a founder, you need to be resourceful. Women are pretty good multitaskers, right? I think so. Coding. Let's talk about coding for a minute. These days, coding is so much more accessible. The languages are really different. And the reality is, it's a natural form of expression, right? When you code, you're building a product to express something you're interested in building. That's natural communication. It's like a language, like English, like Spanish. So we should be naturally good at coding because we're good at communicating. In these tech companies, because usually they're small, the other thing that is necessary is that we need collaborative leadership. Not so much about a different sort of top-down style, which other people are good at, but women, we're naturally good at being collaborative leaders. So that's where Women 2.0 comes in. This is why we exist. It's not about why are there not women starting companies or running tech companies or in tech companies. Our question is why not? So, if you don't already know us, let me explain. So Women 2.0 is a media company. We offer to you content online on our website, community events in your local cities, and conferences, what you're seeing here today, to inspire this new generation of people in tech, people starting tech companies, and people totally revolutionizing the next wave of technology. So we are here to help you guys make that history for the next 7 years. Are you excited about that? So where we are today, we're in this fancy hotel. This is not how we started. Just so you know, was anyone a part of our earlier networking events that we did in people's houses? Oh my God, one person, oh my God, yes. So we used to do networking events in our own apartments, literally. And we would invite people that we didn't know to our house and say, well, let's build this community called Women 2.0. So we've come a long way from doing networking events in our houses to this amazing setup we have today. This is pixely photo. I figured I needed to show you because it's from our first conference that we hosted in 2006. I don't know what device took this photo, because in 2006, guess what? No smartphones. So I have no idea how we took this photo, but it's actually on my Facebook, and it's like a thumbnail. And that's the only proof we have that we had a conference in 2006. And yeah, that's me, the third person there. And that's the original image I wanted to show you as well, just as pixely. Anyway, quickly after that conference, before that conference, we did our first networking event, and this was in my co-founder's apartment. This is how we started, people. We had Doritos and Ruffles and picante salsa. It's pretty awesome. So with all that, we come to what we see today. So I talked about the content online. If you haven't checked it out, basically, the website offers you first-person stories written by founders of companies, CXOs of companies, managers, investors, and also written by our wonderful team here, Jessica and Jessica, who should wave their hands and say hello, our editorial team, to put up all sorts of information to inspire you, to educate you, and to take you to the next level, whether you're working in a tech company or you're looking to start your own. The other thing we do is the community events. How many of you have been to a Founder Friday in your local city? Yes! Okay, shout out the city where you're from. San Francisco, LA, Boston, New York, Detroit in the house! I love it, awesome. So we are now, as of this Friday, going to be in 20 cities because we're launching Las Vegas this Friday. Yes! And the person who took us pretty much to 20 cities is sitting right there. Her name is Seppi. Please stand up and say hello. Yes. And the person taking over her job, because she has way more things to do, is Arti. Where are you, Arti? Right there in the pink shirt. If you're talking about Founder Friday, say hello to Arti. So Founder Friday is all about getting together in your local city. Men and women are welcome, and just building a local network, building that ecosystem you need to get into tech, started in tech, whatever you want to do, starting a company, working in a company. So if you haven't gone, which was pretty much half of the room have been, which is exciting, I encourage you to go. Every first Friday of the month, 10 months out of the year. Investor Hangouts. Anyone participated in Investor Hangouts? Yes, 2, 3. Those are the investors who participated in Investor Hangouts, and a pitching person back there. That's a virtual way for you to get feedback in real time from investors. I don't need to explain the product. Lightning lessons, if you've watched those are the live video broadcasts that we do once a week with, again, a founder, a manager, a CXO, an investor sharing their insights. So live content through Google Hangouts. Lauren, where are you? Lauren, way back there. She is our host for Lightning Lessons, among 10 other hats that she wears. She's also our events coordinator. Say hi to Lauren. So, how many of you have used the job board? Anyone? Anyone? Just pretend you put your hand up. So, we also have a job board. So if you're looking for a gig or you want to post a gig, you can do that. And the most exciting thing we launched today is our networking app. So if you got the email prior to the conference, you know that we now have a way for you to see who's in the room. So if you haven't downloaded it, go to the women2.com/mobile, get the app, and basically you'll see profiles. Claim your profile, because if you don't claim it, no one will be able to contact you. And you can find people, you know, based on where they work or what they're doing, and let them know you're interested in meeting them. Cool, right? And the information's all private, yada, yada, yada. We're not selling it, don't worry. So the third thing we do is conferences. So how many of you have been to a previous Women 2.0 conference? Please raise your hand. Yes. Wow, awesome. San Francisco, I presume? Yeah, anyone go to the New York conference? Yes, cool, 2, yes. Awesome, so this is now our 9th conference. I think I counted that right. And again, this has just been a wild ride coming. We went from doing 1 conference a year now to doing 2. So the last thing I want to mention to help you really change the sort of landscape of technology is our Innovators Subscription. There's more information about that on women2.com/subscribe. And what that is it's just bundling all the things we talked about, the Founder Friday, the conferences, et cetera, into one sort of subscription. So if you, I hit a wrong button. Sorry, I don't know what I did. Oh, okay, good. So if you really love us and you want to use more and more of the offerings that we have, I would totally consider it. So that's why we exist. Is that exciting? All right, so what I want to talk about now, are you still all with me? Yes. Good. The next 7 years. So with, you know, we're here. We're here to talk about the next 7 years. I want to know what 2020 is going to look like with the Women 2.0 lens on. Because the other lens wasn't so Women 2.0-y. It kind of looks, we think, like this. Colorful. And guess what? Boom, it's in this room. So we've decided that the next 7 years are going to be defined by everyone in this room. And they look so different. Some of them are gangsters, some of them are giants, some of them are women, some of them are pirates, some of them are aliens. Diversity is super awesome and important because when you have a diverse team, the stats show that you are 3.5 times likely to have the team members contribute to their full potential. You are 70% more likely to capture a new market, and you are 45% more likely to improve your market share. So if we go back and we include all these sorts of types of people into innovation, which I think also is what this looks like, I think we're going to succeed, right? So let's talk about some of the things we are going to see. We talked about the car industry getting disrupted. It's already being disrupted quickly again. Something called the self-driving car, right? We talked about social interaction earlier, already being disrupted, but we're going to disrupt it again, I think, with this thing called Google Glass. And we're going to hear about all sorts of fun things that Megan is doing at Google X. Civil society, we didn't talk about that, but I think that's being disrupted. It's not just about putting up construction signs anymore. I think it's a little bit about building a culture, about building an emotion, about building change. And we're going to hear Tony Hsieh, we're so excited, to talk about how he's going to change that, and definitely in the next 7 years. Intimacy, who's single in this room? Really, no one's going to put their hand up? My hand is up. Everyone's taken? I don't believe it. You guys are lying. Okay, for all you single and non-single people, we're going to explore intimacy. So it's not just about signing up and getting a Match.com or eHarmony profile. There's so much more happening, and we're going to learn a little bit about from some of our panelists about new ways to date through mobile apps, new ways to check your status before you do so. Just going to not say anything more about that. And maybe even some online, offline ways to engage in intimacy. Startup funding, another place that we're going to talk about in the next 2 days that's going to be disrupted. Again, I don't think it's anymore just about putting out a deck. It was all about the deck. No, it's not about the deck anymore. It's about so many other things that are happening. We have things like AngelList. We have different types of accelerators, like 500 Startups and Springboard. We have different types of VCs that are thinking about things differently. So we're going to hear all about how that's going to be disrupted. Manufacturing. Let's talk about that for a minute. I don't know if you're excited, but I am certainly excited to hear what Marlene from Shapeways is going to tell us about how manufacturing is going to completely revolutionize the manufacturing industry. So in this room, we've already gone through some pretty heavy industries, but let's talk about one that's beyond this world. Space exploration. So at the final day, we're going to have the opportunity to hear from a woman who lived in the biosphere for 2 years, and she's now started a company that's exploring how to travel to Mars with a hot air balloon. So Elon Musk may be taking you via SpaceX. I beg to differ that Jane is going to intercept in air and take her balloon and land on Mars before him. So we're really excited to explore the next 7 years, obviously. And the last thing we'll see on Friday is our fashion show, our wearable tech fashion show. Have you guys looked at all the videos online? Right? Are you excited for the fashion show? It's going to be killer. So another area I'm very excited about is this, is we're going to have clothes that do things. We're going to have clothes that sense your emotion. We have eyelashes that when you blink, a drone is going to start flying. We're actually going to have that live demo. Did you hear me? That's crazy. The other thing we have is fingernails that you put on, and you go, tick, 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 and it starts to actually DJ over water. Yes, we're going to live demo that stuff on Friday. And so many other things. So we're so excited to bring you 2020 here today. So we're excited, right? That's what we're going to look like all day. So I love this photo because, let's face it, fasten your seatbelts, kids. It's going to be a bumpy ride. And we're going to look like that on Friday night as well. So the last thing I want to say is this thing here. This thing is all about you guys. Because, I mean, you guys are going to start the companies that I'm going to put slides about later and say, so this is what we talked about in 2013, and it's real. So this is all about you guys helping and growing together. Innovation happens through people. Innovation happens through relationships. It happens because people believe in each other and come together and start a crazy company or join a crazy company. So whatever you can do in the next 2 days to give to someone, maybe your knowledge, maybe your inspiration, maybe your phone number, maybe you give them an intro to someone you know. Whatever you can do, I promise you, if you give, you will get, because that's how things work. And everyone's trying to emulate what's happening in Silicon Valley, in their city, and all they have to do is give and get, I promise. It's all about giving and getting. So if you find that you want to give some inspiration to someone, some knowledge to someone, some story to someone, don't hesitate. Do it. And just wait. It'll come to you, I promise. We have so many stories of people coming to these conferences, meeting their first founder, meeting their first hire, meeting their first investor, and for the rest of their life has been changed. So be open to it, be ready for it, and totally, totally embrace the next 2 days. Thank you very much.